Hello everyone, today we're going to be solving question number 19 on the AMC 2019. In a tournament there are 6 teams that play each other twice. A team earns 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, and 0 points for a loss. After all the games have been played, it turns out that the top 3 teams earn the same number of total points. What is the greatest possible number of total points for each of the top 3 teams? Our possible answer choices are A, 22, B, 23, C, 24, D, 26, E, 30. Alright, so to begin, we can notice that if we have T1 playing T2, then if T1 wins, he gets 3 points, T2 gets 0. Otherwise, T1 gets 1, T2 gets 1 if this is a draw. And it can also be T1 loses to T2, so that's 0 and 3. So that means if A plays B and A earns a 3, then B earns a 0, and it has to be in these pairs. Alright, so let's say that our top scoring teams, high scoring teams, are A, B, and C. And then our lowest scoring are G, H, and I. The reason we have only a G, H, and I only on the top row is because it really does not matter what their scores are. We just want a possible case where A, B, and C get their highest scores and the same scores as each other. And we don't really have much information on G, H, and I other than that there are our lowest scores. So we just need them on one side. So to begin, we can notice A can't play itself, B can't play itself, C can't play itself. And notice again, this table is for one time only, so this is only one match. We would have to have another one in case we have to consider the case of 2 matches, in the sense that if we have different outcomes for each match, like if A and B in one round A wins against B, and then in the next round we want B to win against A, we're going to have to change this little part of the table. But the G, H, and I part can stay. So the highest is when A, B, and C win against G, H, and I. This is always possible since J, H, and I, we want to minimize their scores, so we want to maximize A, B, and C scores. And then we have cases for what A versus B and C and then B versus C can be. So for this, we are going to make tuples, or rather we should make 2 tables. So there's this one table over here. And similarly, we can have another table right over here. So we'll start from I, H, G. So G, H, and I part always stays the same because we're trying to minimize their scores and maximize A, B, and C scores. But the A, B, and C versus A, B, and C part changes. Alright, so there are a few possibilities. A versus B. And so all the games between A, B, and C end in draws. In that case, they earn 1 point per game each time. So that means we can put them down here as well. We can have a 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and this is for one round. But then in the second round, they'd have to have the same so that they can keep the same scores. And this comes out as 1, 2, 2 plus 9, which makes a total of 11. So they have a score of 11 here, an individual score of 11. And then you multiply it by 2 because they play twice, so that makes 22. Now this could be a highest score, or we can consider the other case. So our other case is, suppose A versus B comes out as 3-0 in the first round. So let's write it like this, as an ordered tuple. So A comma B are the scores, and it comes out as 3-0. Then for BA, in the next round, to keep the scores the same, one of the best strategies would be to make it BA 0-3. And so that means in their 2 games, they have a sum, they end up with a sum of 3, 3. And same for A, C, B, and C by symmetry. So that means in 2 games, now we have to keep this in mind, it's in 2 games. Not one game like GH and I versus A, B, and C, but in 2 games. So in 2 games, A versus B gets a total score of 3. A versus C, total score of 3, and then B versus A, he gets a total score of 3. B versus C, 3. A versus C, 3. B versus C, 3. Now I will mark this here as both rounds counted. So both counted. So that means we only double the green part. So a single score here is going to be the highest because this is the highest possible combination they could have. You can't have a 2 anywhere, so you can't have a draw and somewhere a 2. And the highest somebody could have is 3 points, and you want to maximize the number of 3-pointers. So this comes out as 3 plus 3, so that's 6. 6 plus 2 times this sum, this is 3 times 3, which is 9. 9 times 2, which is 18, so 18 plus 6, which comes out as 24. Thus, our highest possible number of points for each of the top 3 teams is C, 24 points.